Hi, if you are considering immigrating to the UK, think again. My name is Khaled, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to say a lot of things that are unexpected probably from someone with my skin color. But before I start, I would like to emphasize the fact that I do not actually dislike Britain. In fact, I love the people, I love the culture. I've lived here more conscious years than I did in my own home. So anything I'm going to say today is from a place of love to the UK, which I consider home now, and to human beings, a fellow human being that is from a different culture, considering immigrating to the UK to better their life. So hear me first before you pack your luggage. Family life. If you are considering immigrating to the UK with your family, things are very different here to back home. This is a completely different culture. Consider where you will be taking your partner and your children. Are you going to have an open mind to assimilate in Britain and contribute fairly? Or are you going to immigrate with years of assumptions and things that you heard when you're back home? Consider where you're going to be living with your family. Are you going to be living in a place densely populated with people from the same culture? Or you will have the flexibility to live anywhere where you can make a living? And that might be a place where there are no other people from your own culture, or a very small minority. You might not have shops that sell the same stuff that you are used to buy back home. And let's be honest, if you are a man and you are considering bringing your wife here, are you going to be able to allow her to work? According to some cultural groups, that's something men don't allow. And if you're going to allow her, are you going to be able to allow her to work in a pub, to serve alcohol in a restaurant, or to clear tables and bathrooms in Burger King or McDonald's? Do you have kids? Do you know how much childcare is if you and your wife are working? Do you know the government can take your children away and give them to a foster family, and you might not be able to see them ever again? Now, I'm not saying this is a bad thing or a good thing. I'm saying it's different from the way people from other cultures are used to bringing their children with. If you mistreat your children in front of a neighbor, or in front of any official, or in front of any healthcare professional you come across, they have the right to contact social services, and social services have the right to take your children. In fact, this has saved a lot of children in the UK. And when that job is not done properly, a lot of kids sadly die from the mistreatments of parents. And one more thing. When your children are adults, are you going to be okay with them having partners outside marriage? Are you going to be okay if one of them tells you that they are gay? This is something is very supported, in fact protected in the UK. And again, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. We can talk about that in another video, but I'm just asking you to consider the consequences of coming here without an open mind, without the intention to assimilate to life in Britain. If you are a single man and you think that you can find a partner here, I'm very sad to say you can forget that. The dating apps are not making the dating scene very easy for the indigenous people. People who were born in the UK are struggling to find a mating partner. There is a mating crisis in Europe, in Australia, in Canada, in America, everywhere. Open TikTok and you will see. This subject is discussed in academia. It's not something that people just talk about in the cafe. And I would like to say to you that sadly your accent will make things 100 times harder. Anything you heard in the past does not apply to the fact that is happening on the ground now. People now are considering other cultures different, if not even a threat. And in my opinion, they have a point. A lot has been happening over the past few years from people from other cultures. And I know crimes can happen from anyone across cultures. It happens. But when it's from a different culture, especially if one particular culture has shown that over and over again, it gets magnified. The mainstream media talks about it, the social media talks about it, everyone talks about it. And even if you find a partner, all what I have said about family life will apply to you when you make a family. So consider all these aspects, including work. And that will lead me to the next point, the job market. The job market in the UK at the moment is not very easy. And again, like the dating, indigenous people in this country, university graduate cannot find a job. They apply for hundreds of jobs and they don't get even one interview. Again, open TikTok and you will see for yourself and consider what type of job that you can have. Do you have a university degree? Can that translate to the UK education system? If you are coming here with a contract, then this might not apply to you, but you might want to consider the other points I talked about. But if you have no contract, if you are immigrating here just simply to try and find the job and establish a life, finding a job is going to be very hard. You might find a job as a washing up guy in a restaurant, or even if you manage to learn to drive, which costs a lot of money, and get a license, you can work as an Uber driver or as an Amazon driver. But these jobs come with a cost to your car or a car rent, and at the end of the day, you will not make good money that allows you to live a good life. You are going to be working really long, unsociable hours with a very little return. And that will lead me to the next point, cost of living. Cost of living is through the roof at the moment in Britain. Everything has risen in price. Food, shopping, rent, petrol, gas, electric, water, everything. And let's break it down. If you are on a minimum wage in the UK, the rent by itself will take half your salary. When I came here 25 years ago, things were looking very different. You were able to rent a room in London starting from £25 a week, what they call it a box room. That's roughly about £100 a month. Now, to rent a room outside London, you can expect to pay £600, £700, £800, and that can go up to £9,000 and £1,000 in London. If you are thinking to rent a flat or a house, over £1,000 to start with anywhere in England. And the last point I want to talk about is perhaps the most important one, public opinion about immigration. Now, I'm not going to say that there is a rise in racism or xenophobia. I'm just going to say time has changed. Over the past few years, public opinion about immigration has become mostly anti-immigration. The vote to exit the European Union was mostly driven by people wanting to stop immigration to the UK. And one more time, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just saying no matter what your beliefs are, it will affect you. Hundreds of thousands of people across the UK go out in organized demonstrations to say that immigrants are not tolerated anymore. And to be very clear, it's especially the Muslim immigrants. And the reason for that is that Muslim immigrants come fairly young in boats. They are put in hotels, and once they start that journey, wherever they are, things change. Imagine in your own country, the Hilton Hotel or the Sheraton or the Marriott is emptied completely and populated by immigrants that enter the country illegally. And these immigrants gather outside the hotel, talk in a different language, alienating the locals, not to mention some of the horrendous crimes that happened from this group. And again, I'm not saying that this is the only group associated with crimes in the UK, but when these crimes repeat, they get magnified and they catch public attention. This is not the right time to immigrate to the UK if you are from a Muslim background. If you are prepared to come to the UK and assimilate and become a member of this society, contribute, if you are prepared to have your beliefs challenged, if you have the open mind, you have a chance to live here. But if you want to come to the UK to live in a place densely populated by people from your own culture, I would say to you, save the hassle and stay at home. You have more people from your own culture at home, and you are not going to establish the life that you are dreaming with here. In fact, you will make things more difficult. And I appreciate that things are difficult financially in the whole world, but at least at home you are sheltered by family and friends. And for the people that already live here, multiculturalism, I don't think that works anymore. I think the UK has enough culture now, and I really think that this is a good time to put a hold on immigration. And I'm going to emphasize again, everything I said today is from a place of care, from a place of love. Love to the UK, a place that I consider home, and love to people. People who might be deluded, thinking that they will come to the UK for a better life. Please think again. And after what you've heard now, tell me what your experience is if you are already an immigrant in the UK. I would love to hear from you. Maybe this is a safe space to share our thoughts. Leave a comment for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.